Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now, it's real time.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, before we go to Big Dave and Nick Popov, we're very fortunate to get them this morning. Sharon from Scappoose, if you're still out there watching, we had some folks that called up that would like to be able to help you out some way, either with the fishing gear or some other way. Local folks that are around here, that's the best part about Outdoor GPS. Call us back because we want to get your info so we can help share that info with others. Now, let's go ahead and join Big Dave and Nick Popov from the river, and you can tell you guys look a little damp. Been raining?
Not at all.
Yeah, we just went through a serious torrential downpour a second ago. So luckily it's not raining so bad right now. We can talk to you.
It was some of the craziest rain last night too.
The lightning. We were out getting boats put together until about 10:30 last night, and it was just lightning. I felt like we were in the Midwest or something.
Well, I got to ask the question for two professionals that are on the water constantly. What was the motivation to get out there in these conditions? Just curiosity, or why was it that you decided to go through that effort to get out on the water?
You know, we wrapped up our sled season here. I just finished a few days back, and Nick a few days before that, and it's drift boat time. So
there's only one way to find out if they're here or not.
Yeah, so we're kind of just, a little dry run. We're gonna kind of mess around for a few days here, watch this weather come in and rivers come up, and hopefully start bringing some fish in and maybe a little less leaves here soon.
There's no shortage of leaves.
That's a big question, Nick. I got that a lot already this morning about the leaves along the coast. I would assume that it looks like a carpet out there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. This time of the year, it's always that first rain we get, that big rise in the river, or any rise, therefore, all those leaves that fall and lay along the bank as that river comes up, it just and then you get wind with these storms that, I drove down to Dave's last night, and the pass or yesterday afternoon, it was crazy. It would look like it was snowing, but just leaves, big snow, big snow.
Any tricks that you guys like to use in that situation? Obviously it just makes it difficult, right? It just gums up your line, gets into your gear. So there's really I already know the answer to this, honestly, but is there anything that
try to find, there's little spots that we can find sometimes where you might have a break where you've got a little island or some grass where it can kind of stop those leaves and, edges of boils sometimes, things like that. We'll try to find little spots where they're not so bad.
The tough part with leaves is when the leaves and the stuff gets into the river, the salmon are so used to seeing all these leaves and stuff coming by. It's really hard to get them to, turn on your bait and become active feeders. They're just so used to all that debris in their face and avoiding it. And so it's really hard to trigger them when there's a lot of leaves and stuff. That's why traditionally you always want to fish that, on a hard drop, because all that stuff gets pushed up with the flood. And as it recedes out into the bay and the ocean, that's when it cleans up and gets better. And obviously your fishing begins to get better as well.
And we haven't had a frost yet either down here so much. So that's, kind of another thing where these leaves are going to stick around for a little bit. We get some little bit colder weather, and that'll probably knock them out, and we'll get back into that kind of nice water time.
Yep.
Yeah, and everything you guys said makes perfect sense. Obviously, it's just something that frustrates you as an angler. But is there anything that you do or any advice that you could share about getting those fish to actually turn on your baits? Is it a plug? Is it herring? Is it eggs? Beads? What is it that you think might help get them to turn?
The plug is definitely, if you can get them to run, it is more work where you're having to really snap them and try to snap those leaves off and keep an eye, if they're working or not. But yeah, plugs are definitely, because you've got sound, you got scent, and you got a visual there too. So that, that is a good way to get them if you can, work through the leaves.
Yeah, just the leaves in general. It doesn't matter if you're fishing a bobber, or you're fishing a plug, or whatever you're doing, you need to be actively fishing it and removing your leaves and just stay on it. It gets annoying. It's like fishing in the bay.
Yeah.
When you get the, Dave can tell you all about that. And me as well. But when we're down in the bays and stuff, it's the guys that are catching them are the guys that are meticulous, that are constantly checking their gear, cleaning their baits, putting new fresh baits on, just keeping everything fresh. And it's just, even if it adds up to one or two more bites throughout the day, that's one or two more opportunities you're going to get that maybe someone else doesn't.
Great advice, guys. And that just burns through a 6-minute segment just like that. When we come back from this break, Dave, Nick, I want to ask you, what the water kind of looks like today and what you think's going to happen the next 5 or 6 days as it progresses, and maybe when you might think one of those days would be like an optimum time to be there. So be patient with me. Don't go anywhere. When we come back from this break, we're going to continue our conversation with Nick Popov and Big Dave Manners. We'll be right back.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective. And by North American Metals Incorporated, first choice for all your metal roofing and siding needs.